Thank you. I'll be short. Jai Hind to all. Somehow you might be wondering, what is this about? Many people have said earlier. This is just words. This is writing. This is read by educated people in universities. This is how does it have to how does it affect people on the ground? How does it affect the grassroots? Like we are not from the grassroots. We are from the grassroots. So how does it affect people from the grassroots? Those who are get evicted from slums every day in Mumbai and Bangalore, wherever, are those who have to fight for land rights in Chhattisgarh or in Telangana, wherever. Well, how does it have to what does it have to do with these people? So I'll quote from Arundhati Roy herself to tell you what it does have to do with these people. And this is a February 2001 interview. You just take this one. This is a February 2001 interview with David Balsman. This is a February 2001 interview with David Balsman. This appeared in the Progressive. The publication called the Progressive. Ultra left. James would know better about them. So this international website or magazine, the Progressive, wherein she says, please note, the interview itself is labeled as the colonization of knowledge. So we are not the first one to speak of colonization of Ambedkar or knowledge. She was the one who started it way back in 2001. So this has to be understood in that sense. She is quite aware of what colonization of knowledge is. It's not like she comes here and suddenly wakes up and says, after doing such a good deed of working 2 whole years reading Ambedkar, taking the trouble of reading Ambedkar and then coming back and writing an introduction. It's not like she's not aware of what colonization of knowledge is. So what she says here, she talks about the World Bank. What the World Bank does. World Bank doesn't merely give out loans or it also controls government. It controls policy, especially policy which affects mostly the poor masses everywhere in Latin America, in Africa, in South Asia, everywhere, in America also. So she is talking about the World Bank. The power of the World Bank is not only its money, but its ability to accumulate and manipulate knowledge. So please note, it probably employs more PhDs than any university in the world. It funds studies that suit its purpose. Then it disseminates them and produces a particular kind of worldview that is supposedly based on neutral facts. But it's not. It's not at all. How do you deal with that? So this is about knowledge which is produced, mediated by a certain kind of worldview which is supposed to favor some sections of people and go against some certain other sections of people. Its control of knowledge is very important, and without control of knowledge, Ambedkar wouldn't have said if it wasn't important, he wouldn't have said educate. The first point is educate. The whole history of the Shudras is, unlike even the Jews, they were always deprived of the power of the word. Every generation had to learn what it was about being Shudra, Ati Shudra, knew. The knowledge was not passed on through books or words from generation to generation. It could only be passed on through songs and other forms of theatre, which were seen mostly as entertainment many times, not as knowledge itself. The Shudras themselves detested and still detest their own knowledge in the theatre, their own culture in that sense, because it doesn't carry the weight of wisdom which has been produced by people who are actually engaged in all sectors of production. It is disentangled from production itself. It is disentangled from resources. It is disentangled from expropriation. So this is very important. While coming to Bombay, If you come by plane or train, you first see the buildings, you see the sea, and then you see the slums. Then if you see 60% of all major cities in India, Delhi to Bangalore to Hyderabad to Kolkata to Mumbai, is mostly slums. So once I looked at what is this area, कितने स्क्वायर किलोमीटर है ये मुंबई सिटी स्क्वायर एरिया acres है. So Mumbai is around 1,60,000 acres, out of which for nearly 30 to 40 years, 30% of its land was locked up in this urban ceiling litigation. The government didn't employ the army to just grab the land from the rich and distribute it among the poor. This 30% was owned by 20 or 30 families. So and it stayed in litigation for nearly 30 to 40 years. Manager a lot about it. Now it has been released, the population increased so much that the people still don't get a piece of it. The one is 60% of the population of Mumbai, Dharavi itself is around 500 acres. 500,000 to 2 million people live there. The rest of the population in Mumbai, if you take the 60%, they all occupy, let's say, 10,000 acres. The rest of the, 1,50,000 acres, mostly the 40% population lives. It is mostly, if you go by, do a real ethnographic study of Mumbai city, you will find that 90% of them are Savarna. And among the 90%, you will find that 30% is Brahmin. So this is as real as the ground under your feet. The word is as real under the, as the ground under your feet. You have to control, or you have to speak your own words. You have to speak in your own voice. You have to listen on your, to your own, mind and conscience first before you start letting Arundhati tell you what caste is about. Until 4 years ago, she was from what Anup had actually written. Until 4 years ago, she didn't know who Ambedkar from, anyone else, any other Indian politician. She knew nothing about Ambedkar. This publisher, because he was looking for a marketable commodity, he went and dragged in this poor person. I have a great sympathy for her and admire her as a writer, but her politics have always been, regressive in many senses. So this is what this appropriation is about. When you are deprived of the power over the word, your space shrinks down to merely 5% or 6% of what you deserve. If you are 60% of the population and you get only 5% of the space, literal space in the city you live in, and if you are further marginalized in the space of the knowledge also, there is no way you can get back, claim your rights. The evictions and this appropriation is connected in very real terms. In very real terms. Why are the academics from Savarna caste and Brahmins so very keen on opposing this and has reduced, calling our critique as rhetoric crap? Why can't they take it? These guys are going to produce a book that's a democratic this thing. Chhod do bas bhai. Stop there. But as my favorite poet, Shiv Sagar, who was one of the founders of the PWG party, K.G. Satyamurthy, and he had to come out of the Maoist party because of the appropriation of the struggle also goes on in the Marxist this thing also. The leaders of central committee is 70% Savarna, 80% Savarna, and then you bring in one token Parsi, one moneyed Parsi from Mumbai, and then you bring in someone else, and Satyamurthy was driven out. He was one of the 2 or 3 founders of the People's War Group, which later became the Maoist party. So then he said, it is not just the ground on which you stand, which is, the battleground. He said, I am the soldier, I am the battlefield too. So everyone is a soldier, everyone is the battlefield too. You have to fight for your own mind, for your own words, for your own voice. It doesn't stop, You say, Arundhati Roy, लिख दो. आपको क्या तकलीफ है? अरुंधति रॉय लिखे तो 98% of faculty in National Central University is Savarna Brahmin. Who are they going to read? Ambedkar or Arundhati? They will वो कट कर देंगे AOC from that book. It will be purely Arundhati Roy who will be the author of this, struggle against caste, which Ambedkar had waged, which Phule had waged, which Nanak had waged, which Kabir had waged, which Buddha had started, which the Charvakas had inspired. It is not Arundhati Roy and her kind are the most aggressive form of politics in India, which have been, as Anu so clearly pointed out in so many examples, and James has pointed out how this recent history since the colonial time, wherein Phule and Ambedkar kind of materialist, rationalist, progressive politics have been sidelined. So this is not about mere words. 98% faculty अगर सवालना है सेंट्रल टेस्ट में या किसी ने बुलाया नहीं, ये मुंबई यूनिवर्सिटी के लड़के स्टेट यूनिवर्सिटी के they have called us. सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी तो एक्स्ट्रा अल्ट्रा प्योर है. हम जाने के बाद वहाँ पे कम यूरिन स्प्रे करेंगे शायद. So we have not called the students here. We don't know how they are. We had nothing to support them. They acted out of their goodness of heart and their broad-mindedness. Our name, Round Table India. It is they who conduct the whole issue. Suresh Manesar who gave the inspiration to, at least, the patronage to say, please come out. This is, this is also our space. We don't know how much of this is our space. 5% and 10%. जैसे कि यहाँ for this day, this is our Dharavi. So छत्रपति शिवाजी के नाम पे एक बोर्ड लगाते हैं. छत्रपति शिवाजी के साथ जिन्होंने मारा उनके लिए कुछ नहीं है. Nothing for them. Airport, railway station, very good for them. We don't want this symbolic politics. We want things beyond that. So this is not about just Arundhati Roy. Arundhati Roy से better तो Salman Rushdie लिखता था. Naipaul लिखता था. Neeraj Chaudhary लिखता था. Why Arundhati Roy only? Because she has perfected this craft of being, the casteless Indian, just like Gandhi, just like Nehru. Nehru writes in his own autobiography, starting with his descent, like they have descended from the Himalayas as gods. जैसे शिव जी आते हैं हिमालय से, are these gods? And he is casteless earlier. Arundhati Roy has crafted that very tantalizing space of being casteless. And is this outside Indian polity? Is this outside Indian society? This state of castelessness is something like the the yogis and the munis who go to trance. They go into trances. Is this something like that? How can you be casteless? Caste is a mode of production in India. This is a caste economy. This is a caste society. 90% of the Bahujans still now are engaged in undercapitalized, traditional occupations. That is how your saris and your shirts and everything else is produced. Mostly it is still done on handlooms and power looms which are operated by single workers or a couple of workers, by families who are dying. Your jewelry is produced by artisans who are dying. Your fish, jo bhi koliwada, whatever you do, the fancy names you give to fish caught by fishermen, 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees plate with 2 pieces in posh hotels, that is produced by fishermen who are dying, who are being driven out of their homes. This is connected with that. This is not simply a Maoist party का कोई पेट नहीं है. गरीबों के लिए बात करने के लिए हम गरीब हैं, हम गरीबों से ही बात करेंगे हमेशा. This is our बात, our voice. We oppose this kind of, the first mistake the Bahujan did. You could say the original sin of, Bahujan, the world, to allow the Brahmin to enter into their little shrines. जो पत्थर होता था, पेड़ होता था, या नाग होता था, उनको pray करने के लिए, they invited the Brahmin to come in with this mantra jumbo, mambo jumbo. They allowed him to introduce their God to themselves. So वहाँ शुरू हुआ. That is our original sin. We can't allow that to happen again. Arundhati Roy doesn't carry any scholarship. 4 साल पहले तक तो she had not read Ambedkar. She had not read. She had no interest in Ambedkar and anti-caste literature. She knew the Dalit as only as a label given to the poorest of people. poorest, that is also a casteless state. Poor यहाँ पे 90% Dalit बहुजन होते हैं. How does the poor become a casteless person? Dalit becomes a just a poor person. A Dalit is someone who is, first stolen of all rights, of history too, of memory. If memory is not important, what happened to you yesterday was not important. We are supposed to wake up drunk every day, erasing our memory. Is that what they want us to do? The Brahmin comes back and tells us what my caste is about. This is not this is as important to us as the evictions. Yeah, as important to us grabbing back the land from the Salar or Argentine landlords. As important to us as remembering our leaders. Our leader, Manyavad Khashi Ramsam had once said, so he was asked in 1987 by smart as journalist, Savarna journalist, आपने ये रैली में you have spent a lot of money, 22 lakhs खर्च किया. So he said, I am very, very sad that it was only 22 lakhs. I wish it was 22 crores. That was a big amount then. 22 lakhs was a big amount in 1987. Indira Gandhi, everybody remembers. Everybody forgets. Only the fewest people among this audience, even among the elders, forget that Indira Gandhi was, charged with, overspending and using, government institutions and jeeps, specifically jeeps, for her election campaign in 1970. They come around as asked Kanshiram for once, when they are seeing the Dalits organize themselves, not coming in cartloads of lorries, but bringing the carts themselves, the lorries themselves, they come and ask this. They'll remember how much Kanshiramji spent, how much Babaji spent, but they don't remember that Indiraji was actually convicted of committing that crime. How did this erasure happen? And this writer, goes around the world and, these are five-star kind of, as somebody said, poverty barren. Murli, who wrote in the Independent, said, she's a poverty barren. Poverty is one of the most saleable commodities in the world. Emotion, जैसे कि हिंदी फिल्मों में they sell emotions, they sell happiness, they sell sadness, they sell tragedy. She is selling poverty. In Phulan Devi, she's no caste disempowerment, no caste disenfranchisement. There is only she was class, and she was fighting from the beginning. So it is she understood the class thing. Kaisa class? Where do this the most mindless kind of Marxists come from? Go back and read Marx. So this is our point. This is not about just words. She can write as many books. We are not stopped in any way, her in any way. उनका तो book बहुत sell हो रहा. Because of us also they are selling more books. They should thank us. Next time, next edition, they should thank us. Let them sell. But this time we have marked them forever. We 32 writers. There are more writers. There are more young people writing. Arundhati Roy. She has not noticed who wrote it. I don't depend. One of the foremost to speak in Hyderabad, let me recap that history a little. One of the first to speak in Hyderabad was Bujata Ragam sir. He is the Republican Party of India president there. He has been with the Republican Party for the last 30 years, since I came to know his name first time. He is older than Gadar. He is around 84 or so. He recently has had brain surgery. He has fought, he was a public prosecutor, don't get Karam Jaduvian. He was with Chunduru. Only Dalit senior counsel in Hyderabad. And the rest are all ignored. So he has fought for Dalits who were victimized as Maoists, fought for Dalits who were victimized as laborers asking for rights, fought for Dalits who were killed in atrocities. This gang of persons are groupies who are accusing us of writing detective crap. Have you ever Have you heard of this person? What do you know about civil rights in India? This person was one of the first to tell you about human rights in India. What do they know about this human rights? दो चार झोले वाले बैठ जाते हैं मुंबई दिल्ली में. You know about human rights? They should be chairs instituted in the name of Bajaj Taragam sir in any meaningful university in India. And you are calling him what he speaks as a reductive crap. He says plainly she is using Ambedkar to get back at Gandhi because to attack Gandhi is a saleable commodity. We are not interested in Gandhi. Nobody, we lost interest in Gandhi 70 years ago, as Anup said. So this is not about, they should understand. He comes from a fisher committee, he comes from a Dalit community, I come from another committee of map makers. You do know the diversity of people. There is a Brahmin over there, the other writers, you know, Catholic, Syrian Catholic, Mahatma Catholic. This is the diversity. Why? How dare we speak about only see her as belonging to only one caste? We would be utterly stupid. We don't have the moral right to speak in that sense. We would be utterly stupid, you know. This whole exercise will not be there. Anup said it doesn't concern us. We don't need to defend on that count. So you need to understand who are writing. Please pay attention. These are all PhDs much more educated than me. I'm not half as educated as some of them, much younger than me. There are old people, they are, you know, Samba Shiva Rao was actually fought for land rights with guns for Dalits and other marginalized groups in the Datakarania region. Before Ananda Tirava, you know, was dropping out of college. These are people who have fought and faced threats to their life. These people will, higher comprehension will teach us human rights. They'll teach us about appropriation and exploitation. This is not necessary for us. So there are many more things I would like to speak, but I would cut it short now. Maybe during the question time we can speak more. I would like to.